everybody, this is the Pop Music Freak, continuing my series on the top songwriters of the Hot 100 era. I'm doing the top 100 lists. We're up to number 50 through number 26 on the list. Before I continue this countdown, I just want to acknowledge some comments that have come in, some not so very nice, about my list, disputing how certain songwriters can be low on the list. One main example, someone was very highly upset that Bob Dylan was only number 60 on the list. Now, I understand where you're coming from. In terms of ability as a songwriter, there's very few that have ever lived that were as good as Bob Dylan, especially in his heyday in the 60s into the 70s. I don't disagree on that matter at all. Calling me an idiot that doesn't know what he's talking about is not cool, though. Come on. Let me explain how this chart works. Maybe I wasn't thorough with my explanation of how this list is working. It is the chart success of songs written by a certain person. Doesn't matter if they recorded it themselves or if someone else recorded it. It's the chart run of those songs. But keep in mind one detail that maybe I left out. If someone co-writes a song with someone else, they don't get 100% credit for the points earned on the charts, okay? If they co-wrote it with someone else, they get a 50% share of the points. If they wrote it with 3 other people, they're getting a 25% share of the points, just as they would in terms of copyright earning royalties on it, okay? Now here's the deal. In the 1960s and the 70s, most songs that charted generally did not stay on the chart very long. The competition level, especially mid-60s, you had basically 700 songs reaching the Hot 100 chart in a given year, where in other years is generally less and less songs, to the point where nowadays you might have in a good year 400 songs reach the charts, which means on average they're going to stay on the charts longer and earn more points. Point being, generally artists and songwriters of the last 20 to 30 years are doing better on this list because their songs stay on the charts longer. Just want to make that clear. This is why Bob Dylan got hurt, because the gist of his career, most of his great songs that charted were in the 60s, where songs were going up the charts fast and going down the charts pretty fast. Alright, I have Bob Dylan's page opened up. He didn't write a lot of hits, looking at the numbers, although there are classics. I'll go down the list. Knocking on Heaven's Door, he wrote 100%. Lay Lady Lay, Rainy Day Women, he wrote. Now here's another example. Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker was a relatively big hit in the 2010s that Bob Dylan co-wrote, so you get 50% credit on that, okay? Blown in the Wind by Peter, Paul, and Mary was his song. Forever Young by Rod Stewart is Bob Dylan's song. You have Mr. Tambourine Man by the Byrds, which ends up being the biggest pop hit written by Bob Dylan. But he did not write Turn, Turn, Turn. He didn't. It was based on a Bible passage. Alright? There's other songs, like the Traveling Wilburys had a couple of hits, but he wrote it with 4 other people, so he only gets 20% credit on those songs. My point is this. He didn't have a ton of songs hit the charts, but the ones that did were tremendous songs. No one can deny that. Looking at who was next on the list below him was Mariah Carey. Now, Mariah Carey is ranked number 3 among the most successful artists of the Hot 100 era. Number 3. But she's only number 60 on this list. Why? Because she co-wrote every song. Basically, she wrote it with 3 to 5 other people. So she only gets a small percentage of those points earned. Just want to make that clear. Yes, she wrote 18 of her 19 number 1 hits, which is an incredible accomplishment. But she basically wrote 25 to 10% of the song, so she only gets credit, that much credit. Let's go down the list. I can show you. All I Want for Christmas Is You, she co-wrote it, so she's only getting 50% of those points. Let's see. Let's go down. Let's see. We have We Belong Together. She wrote that with 9 other people. She's only getting 10% of those points. So that's the point. My Sweet Day, she wrote that with 5 other people. So she's only getting 1/6 of the points. That's how this thing works. So I just want people to understand, I'm not crazy. I know Bob Dylan is one of the greatest ever. If I had to make a list, he's in the top 10. He's probably in the top 10 with Lennon and McCartney and Paul Simon and Babyface and Diane Warren, who we'll get into as we get to the final 25 of our list. Alright, so I just want to make this point before I continue on, because the criticism I felt was unwarranted. Alright? So anyway, so let me go to my list. We're going to start with number 50. I'm going to give you the name of the songwriter. I'm going to tell you the 3 biggest hits that they have credit for writing or co-writing. Alright? We're going to start. Number 50 is Robin Gibb, 1/3 of the Bee Gees. Yes, we covered Maurice earlier in the countdown. The difference with Robin is he actually wrote a couple of solo hits, which moved him up the charts. He also wrote a song called Hold On To My Love, which was a top 10 hit for Jimmy Ruffin in 1980, which the other brothers had nothing to do with. So he gets credit for that song, and Barry and Maurice do not. Alright? And the 3 biggest hits by the Gibb family in terms of chart success. Number 3 is Shadow Dancing by little brother Andy Gibb, which hit number 1 for 7 weeks in 1978. Number 2 on the list is Stayin' Alive by the Bee Gees, 4 weeks at number 1 in 1978. And the biggest hit, point-wise, is How Deep Is Your Love, which spent 3 weeks at number 1, December 77 into January 78. So Robin Gibb, of course, did a good share of the Gibb family success is Robin's responsibility, as much as it is Barry's or Maurice. Alright, next we have number 49 on the list. It's Rob Thomas, most famous with Matchbox 20, but of course his biggest hit that he ever wrote was part of his collaboration with Santana and Smooth, the very biggest hit of Santana's career, and definitely the biggest thing Rob Thomas has ever written, spending 12 weeks at number 1. Alright, so the Rob Thomas' second and third biggest hits were songs he recorded with Matchbox 20, namely Unwell is the second biggest hit, and Bent is the third biggest hit. So Rob Thomas is responsible for 2 number 1 hits, or at least partially responsible. Alright, number 48, we have Barry Mann, not to be confused with Barry Manilow, who's not on the list, although his success is pretty significant. Barry Mann, number 48, basically started writing in the 60s with Cynthia Weil, who we covered earlier in this countdown. His career stretches 60s, 70s, and 80s, so you gotta give him credit. Excuse me. Song is pretty relevant. By the way, I know some people commented about me clearing my throat too much. I apologize. I have a health condition that kind of makes getting phlegm out of my throat a difficulty sometimes. So bear with me, please. I'm not trying not to be gross. Okay. Anyway, Barry Mann. His third biggest hit he ever wrote was Never Gonna Let You Go by Sergio Mendes. Was the Sergio Mendes comeback hit in 1983. Hit number 4 on the pop chart. Second biggest hit written by Barry Mann was co-writing You've Lost That Love and Feeling with the Righteous Brothers, which was also a hit for Hall & Oates, 1981. And the biggest hit written or co-written by Barry Mann, Don't Know Much, Linda Ronstadt, and Aaron Neville, which ends up being Cynthia Wild's most successful song that she wrote. Okay. Number 47, we have Paul Anka. Of course, he is just as famous for songs he's written for other artists as his own hits. Of course, he transferred the French lyrics of My Way into English so that Frank Sinatra could record it, and of course, Chairman of Board. Probably one of his greatest songs ever. And of course, Elvis Presley recorded a version of My Way that was released after his untimely death in 1977. And Paul Anka also wrote the theme to The Tonight Show when Johnny Carson was the host. And he also wrote She's a Lady, which was the biggest hit for Tom Jones back in 1971. But the three biggest hits that Paul Anka has written were all songs that he would record himself. Number 3 is Put Your Head on My Shoulders, which hit number 2 in 1960. We have Lonely Boy, which hit number 1 in 1959. And we have Diana, which was his very first big hit. Spent 5 weeks at number 1 in 1957. Today I have it on Paul Anka. He has written 3 songs that hit number 1 and several others that came pretty close. Alright. Next, another artist who wrote for many different songs that many other people covered it afterwards, especially after his untimely death. I'm talking about Sam Cooke at number 46. The biggest hit he ever wrote was his own big hit, Chain Gang, from 1960. But he also wrote many other big hits for other artists. Second biggest hit was Cupid, which he hit number 2 with on his own. The Spinners recorded a disco version of it in 1980, turned it into a medley with I've Loved You for a Long Time, and I hit number 4 in the summer of 1980. And Sam Cooke's third biggest hit, Only 16, that he hit the top 20 with on his own, and Dr. Hook took it to the top 10 in 1976. So officially Sam Cooke did not write any number 1 records. He didn't write You Send Me, but he hit number 2 a couple of times and the top 10 many times. So that's Sam Cooke. Next, number 45, Richard Marx, a successful singer-songwriter from the 80s into the 90s. But the biggest hit he ever wrote was for a boy band, NSYNC. He wrote This I Promise You, which hit the top 5 in the year 2000. His next 2 biggest hits were songs that he recorded himself, Now and Forever, number 2, and Right Here Waiting, which would be his biggest pop hit, going to number 1 for 3 weeks. So those are the 3 biggest hits recorded or written by Richard Marx. Okay, number 44, Godfather of Soul, James Brown. Now, the biggest hit that he recorded was I Got You, I Feel Good, which hit number 3 on the charts, end of 1965, beginning of 1966. Second biggest hit was, and the first biggest hit, were both samples. Other artists sampled part of his songs. The number 2 song would be Here We Go Again by Portrait, which was a pretty big pop hit. Used a sample of one of James Brown's songs. And the biggest hit, That's the Way Love Goes by Janet Jackson. Took another sample from another one of James Brown's songs and took it to number 1 7 weeks in a row in 1993. So James Brown gets songwriting credit on that. Alright, number 43. Here's another one that's going to make people shake their heads. Madonna is number 43 on the list. I can go over his list and explain to you why she's only number 43 on the list, even though she's rated number 2 in terms of artists in Hot 100 history. Let me give you the rundown anyway. The third biggest hit, Like a Virgin. The second biggest hit was Music. And the biggest hit, Take a Bow. Madonna played a role in 12 number 1 hits. So if you give me one moment, I am going to dig up her list, and I'll explain to you why she's only earning this amount of points. I should have done this with the other 2 videos. Alright, so same old deal as I explained with Mariah Carey. She co-wrote most of her hits. Just about all of her hits. Is there anything that she wrote herself? Lucky Star. Lucky Star is the only song, the only hit that she just wrote herself with no one else helping. Alright? That explains why. Her points that she's received may not justify the number of hits she had. We'll go over it. Let's see. Like a Virgin. She didn't write Like a Virgin, by the way. She did not write it. No percentage of it. She got no credit for Like a Virgin. Alright? Take a Bow. Co-wrote it. Co-wrote it with Babyface. Take a Bow. And let's see, we got Vogue. She wrote half of Vogue. Got credit for half. Got credit for half of Music. Like a Prayer. Co-wrote it. Like a Prayer. So that's the story. She didn't write Holiday. So that is why she's where she is, number 43 on the list. Alright, next we have number 42, Robert Mutt Lang. Now he wrote songs for many artists. He wrote for Def Leppard, Billy Ocean, Bryan Adams, 2 hits for Huey Lewis in the News. He wrote for Nickelback, and he wrote for Shania Twain, his wife. How lovely. All right. But a lot of them are co-writes. Co-writes. So, you're still the one. Half. It's half the credit on it with Shania Twain. What else we got? We have Everything I Do It For You for Bryan Adams. 3 people got together, write that. And Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman? 3 people got together, write that. So that's why the points are divided up. All for Love. 3 people got together to write that. Let's see. Pour Some Sugar on Me. 6 people got together and wrote that. So I think you get the point. In a lot of these situations, the songwriter is not getting full credit on the points from the chart run. So that is why they're in what position they're in. All right, let's go. I think I've hammered that one enough, that point enough. Next, number 41, we have KARL Schuster, otherwise known as Shellback. He wrote for many different artists, mostly in the 2010s. Let's go over this list. We got I Don't Care, the Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber duet. 6 people got together, right? That, so the points are all divided up. Let's see, Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. 3 people wrote that. Moves Like Jagger, One More Night, and Payphone by Maroon 5 were all written by Shellback. All written by several people. Raise a Glass and So What by Pink. Same story. Blank Space by Taylor Swift. Knew You Were Trouble. Shake It Off. 3 people wrote that. And Usher's DJ Got Us Falling in Love with Pitbull. Same deal. So yeah, so KARL Schuster, you may not know his name, but he wrote a lot of stuff in the 2010s. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. Next, Motown legend, Lamont Dozier, number 40 on my list. Let me give you the rundown of all the big hits he wrote. We got Heaven Must Have Sent You by Bonnie Pointer. Give Me Just a Little More Time by Chairman of the Board. I Can't Help Myself, Bernadette, Reach Out, I'll Be There, all by the 4 Tops. We have Band of Gold by Frida Payne. How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You, the James Taylor remake. Had a chart run. Baby I Need Your Lovin' by Johnny Rivers. You Keep Me Hanging On, Kim Wilde, 1987, hit number 1. Len Barry's 1, 2, 3. What's his name? Lamont Dozier was one of 6 people who got together to write that song. We got all the Martha and the Vandellas hits, except for Dancing in the Street. 2 Hearts by Phil Collins, 50% credit on that song. Roll With It by Steve Winwood, he got 20% credit on that. And that's really about it. We have Supreme, several Supreme songs. Baby Love, Come See About Me, I Hear a Symphony, Love Is Here, Now You're Gone, Reflections, Stop in the Name of Love, The Happening, Where Did Our Love Go, You Can't Hurry Love, Keep Me Hanging On again. So, it's one of those things, a lot of them were Holland, Dozier, Holland, that they all co-wrote. So that's number 40. Next, a Philadelphia music legend, Leon Huff, is number 39 on my list. He wrote most of the Philadelphia International Records' biggest hits, including Me and Mrs. Jones by Billy Paul, I'm Gonna Make You Love Me, Diana Ross with Supremes and the Temptations. That was pre-Philly Records. But then he wrote If You Don't Know Me By Now by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and also Simply Red took that to number 1. He wrote Enjoy Yourself by the Jackson 5, Only Strong Survive by Jerry Butler, You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine by Lou Rawls, TSOP, The Sound of Philadelphia by MFSB. A lot of hits. My Place by Nelly. Use a sample. He used a sample. And what else we got? We got a bunch of medium-sized hits. We have Don't Leave Me This Way by Thelma Houston, which hit number 1. I Love Music, Love Train, For the Love of Money, Put Your Hands Together, Used to Be My Girl, Backstabbers, all by the OJs. He had at least a part in a lot of those. Do It Any Way You Want by People's Choice. He wrote that 100%. So there you are. That is the man. Number 39, Leon Huff. We'll hear from Kenny Gamble in this countdown as well. Next, Ryan Tedder, number 38. Wrote a lot of stuff in the 2010s as well. Let's go through that list. We got Halo by Beyonce. He's a 1/3 writer on that. Burned by Ellie Goulding. Not Over You by Gavin DeGraw. Sucker for the Jonas Brothers is one of 9 people to write that. Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. Co-writing 50% on that. Apologize by One Republic. Counting Stars, which was a humongous hit. He wrote all of that whole song. Secrets by One Republic. Stop and Stare and Good Life. Several hits. So there we are. That's Ryan Tedder, number 38 on the list. Next, number 37, Brian Holland. I mentioned Holland, Dozier Holland earlier. So Brian Holland basically wrote all the same songs that we heard from Dozier. Yeah, Jimmy Dozier. So, the only difference on there, good question. Not really a whole lot. He wrote Junior Walker and the All-Stars, a couple of their hits. And Marvin Gaye hits, a couple of Marvin Gaye hits. And then he wrote things that were remade by the Carpenters, Please Mr. Postman, Marvelettes, Playboy, Please Mr. Postman again. So that's the difference. There was a couple of extra hits written by Brian Holland, number 37. Next, number 36, Kenny Gamble, the other half of the Philly music team. So he wrote everything basically that Leon Huff wrote. What can I add to that? Let's see, Jerry Butler. He wrote more of Jerry Butler's hits. He wrote a couple of hits for Joe Simon. Dilemma by Nelly. He's got a writing share on that song. Teddy Pendergrass solo hits. Wrote a few of those. He wrote a couple more Intruders hits. And he wrote Break Up to Make Up by the Stylistics. And Together by Tierra, which was a remake in a way of an Intruders song. Always Together. So that's number 36 on the list. Number 35, another Motown legend, Norman Whitfield. Now, he wrote some other songs. He wrote War by Edwin Starr. I Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye. Too Busy Thinking About My Baby, Marvin Gaye. Car Wash by Rolls Royce. Ball Confusion. I Can't Get Next to You. Just My Imagination. I Wish It Would Rain. Papa Was a Rolling Stone. All by The Temptations. He wrote Smiling Faces Sometimes for The Undisputed Truth. So he definitely had a share of Motown and other R&B hits in the 70s. Next, Eddie Holland, the third part of that team. It's going to be basically all the same songs as his brother and Jimmy Dozier. Anything else in addition there? Let's take a look. It's pretty much the same. I Know I'm Losing You. That's an additional song. That was a hit for Rare Earth and The Temptations. He wrote all the Supremes hits, basically. The rest is pretty much the same, as we've mentioned. All right, next, number 33, we have George Michael. George Michael. Now, looking at his list, of course, he wrote basically every Wham hit. He wrote basically all of his solo hits. He also wrote a song called Heaven Help Me for Dion Estes, which hit the top 5 in about 1989 or 90. He wrote getting credit for Looking Through Patient Eyes from PM Dawn. And basically all of his hits, which would be Faith and One More Try and Careless Whisper and Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Those are basically the biggest hits that he recorded. And now he's collecting on Last Christmas every holiday season, which isn't a bad thing. All right. Next, number 32, Gerry Goffin. He was one half of a hugely successful songwriting team with his wife at the time, Carole King. So what did Gerry Goffin write or have partial credit for? Let's see. Take Good Care of My Baby by Bobby V. We have Do You Know Where You're Going To, the Mahogany theme from Diana Ross. He wrote Go Away Little Girl, which was a hit for Steve Lawrence and for Donny Osmond. I've Got to Use My Imagination by Gladys Knight and the Pips. Nothing's Gonna Change My Love for You by Glenn Medeiros, 1987. Partially written by Gerry Goffin, believe it or not. What else? Let's see, The Locomotion. We have Little Eva, and we have Grand Funk Railroad, and we have Kylie Minogue's version as well. So we're getting credit 3 times on that song. Natalie Cole. We have Miss You Like Crazy and Someone That I Used to Love. We have Tonight I Celebrate My Love, Roberta Flack and Peebo Bryson. We have, let's see, Go Away Little Girl again, Up on the Roof from the Drifters and Later by James Taylor. And we have Will You Love Me Tomorrow by the Shirelles. And we have Whitney Houston's first #1 hit, Saving All My Love for You. All those songs were written by Gerry Goffin. He ranks number 32. Next, number 31. Here's another one that's going to draw some controversy. Bernie Taupin is number 31 on this list. May seem very, very low considering Elton John is rated number 4 in terms of top artists of the whole Hot 100 era. But it's the same situation. It's co-writing. He co-wrote them with Elton John, so he gets half the points. That's how it works. I mean, go down the list. Let's see. We have Benny and the Jets, Candle in the Wind, Crocodile Rock, Island Girl, Philadelphia Freedom, The One, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. We have These Dreams by Heart was written, half written by Bernie Taupin. And so was, of course, Starships, We Built This City. One of 4 people to rate that piece of garbage. But it hit number 1. You know? Anyway, so Bernie Taupin is number 31 on my list. Number 30, The Boss, Bruce Springsteen. Springsteen wrote basically all of his many, many hits, but he also wrote Because the Night, which was a hit for Patti Smith, and 10,000 Maniacs. He also wrote Fire for the Pointer Sisters, which was a big hit in 1979. And he wrote Blinded by the Light, that Man for Man's Earth Band took to number 1. Besides all of his classics, Dancing in the Dark, Glory Days, Born in the USA, Born to Run, Streets of Philadelphia, Hungry Heart. He wrote a lot. And he's number 30 on this list. Okay. Number 29, a guy named Aubrey Drake Graham. You all know him as Drake. He is number 29 on this list, even though he ranks number 12 on the artist list. Same situation. He generally wrote his songs with 4, 5, or 6 other people, so he only gets a small credit on every song. It's over 200 Hot 100 hits, but did he get full credit on anything? Let me take a quick look. Oh, we got Behind Bars, tiny hit. No, he did not write a single song all by himself. No, not one. But what he did write was pretty magical. Looking at his chart success. All right, you got Bad Bunny's Mia. You got Block Boy JB, Look Alive. You have Chris Brown's No Guidance. You have Best I Ever Had that he recorded. Controlla, Fake Love, Find Your Love, Forever, God's Plan, Hold On, We're Going Home, Hotline Bling, Headlines, In My Feelings, etc. Nice for What, One Dance, Started from the Bottom, Take Care, The Motto, Too Good, Tootsie Slide, Jumpman, Drake in Future, Life is Good by the Future, Pop That by French Montana. Yes, many, many, many hits. Little Babies, Yes Indeed. Meek Mill's Going Bad. Drake wrote all of that. What's My Name by Rihanna and Work. Sicko Mode, Travis Scott. Young Money's Bedrock. A huge amount of hits written or co-written, all co-written by Drake. All right, number 28, Timothy Mosley, otherwise known as Timbaland. Let's go over his list. He's another one that did not write anything all by himself. He had co-wrote everything. Let's go over this. All right, we have Try Again by Aaliyah, Drunk in Love by Beyonce, Without Me by Halsey, Holy Grail by Jay-Z, Cry Me a River, Justin Timberlake, Mirrors, My Love, Sexy Back, Suit and Tie, and What Goes Around Comes Around, all Justin Timberlake. And we got 4 Minutes, Madonna and Justin Timberlake. We got Missy Elliott's Get Your Freak On, Hot Boys, Work It. We have Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado, Say It Right. We have Give It To Me by Timbaland, wrote for himself. The Way I Are. Apologize with One Republic. So yeah, good bunch of hits. Timbaland has writing credit on. Once again, none of them a full 100%. All right, now we're getting down to the end of this video. Number 27 is Phil Collins. Phil Collins, yes, his solo career and most of the Genesis hits. He has at least a co-write on. Basically, all of his solo hits he wrote himself, with two exceptions. Two Hearts and Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. He co-wrote those two. But all of the other hits, yeah, he has his fingerprints on them. The Genesis songs, I Can't Dance, Invisible Touch, Land of Confusion, No Son of Mine, That's All, Tonight, 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 all co-written by Phil Collins. And among his solo career, you have Against All Odds, Another Day in Paradise. You have Easy Lover with Phil Bailey. You have Two Hearts, Susudio, of course, One More Night, Wish It Would Rain Down. All Phil Collins tunes. He's 27th on the list. Now, 26, another case of almost every song being co-written. We have Pharrell Williams, number 26. Among his songs, we have Havana by Camila Cabello. Was written 10% by Pharrell Williams. Oh, good God. All right. Get Lucky by Daft Punk, 25%. Hollaback Girl, Gwen Stefani, 33%. Rock Your Body by Justin Timberlake, 33%. Milkshake by Keyless. Moneymaker by Ludacris. Hot in Here by Nelly. Happy by Pharrell Williams, his own song. He wrote it all himself. Give him that. That's his biggest hit. He wrote it all himself. Blurred Lines, of course, with Robin Thicke. He gets 25% credit for that. Drop It Like It's Hot by Snoop Dogg, 33%. And You Don't Have to Call by Usher, 50%. And Rump Shaker, Rex in Effect. He wrote 10% of that. So yeah, that is Pharrell. Ending this video, we're at number 26. The next one I'm going to do in the next few days, we'll do the top 25 songwriters of the Hot 100 era. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I know it's kind of odd and controversial, and I have to make it clear several times that the way this list works depends on the amount of the song you're getting credit for. Counts that amount of points. That's how it goes. Alright? Please share. Please like. Please subscribe to this wonderful channel. It's growing by the day. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a blessed day. Peace and love.
Right to life. Every day is a new beginning. Every day is a new day. And everything's coming your way. And you wanna make it last forever. Well, every day is a new day. And everything's coming your way. And you wanna make it last forever. Just keep it together, 'cause it keeps getting better. Hey, it keeps getting better. Well, here we are, living in the moment. And here we are, dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race. And we won't stop dreaming, no we won't stop dreaming. Look ahead, we can see forever. You and me doing it together. Light it up, we can be a million stars. Look at us, don't you see we've come so far? Yeah, we've come so far. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. And these are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place the human race. And we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Standing at the crossroads, feeling how the wind blows. We can soar above the clouds. Every moment is a heartbeat, and every breath feeling so sweet. And who can say what happens now? 'Cause this is our world, this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race. And we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. This is our world, and this is our time. And these are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race. And we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. We won't stop dreaming.
As I strolled without a care, 'cause I'm going down the road to a brand new place, and I'll get there with a smile on my face. Yeah, so lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on, clap your hands and won't you sing along? And now let's take it up high. Give our dreams their wings to fly. Gotta keep the fire, keep the fire burning, keep the hope alive. You gotta keep it turning. Shoes, kick them off and take a deep breath and shake off the blues. This is a brand new day that you can pave the way, because everything is possible. Shout and say, hey, hey, I gotta go and on and keep on pushing up and on march and move along. And good things all around now that I can see, and they said it wouldn't happen to me. Yeah, yeah, so take your hands, throw them up, you put them up high, clap it up and dance it out till you're ready to fly. Turn the music, turn it up just a little too loud. If you're alone, dance just like there's a crowd, and keep it going every day. Until the stars show the light. No, not a care in the world, not a word from me. I tell you, this is what it's like to be free. So lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on and clap your hands and won't you sing along? And now let's take it up high. Give our dreams their wings to fly. Gotta keep the fire and keep the fire burning, keep the hope alive. You gotta keep it turning. Yeah, lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on and clap your hands and won't you sing along? And now let's take it up high. Give our dreams their wings to fly. You gotta keep the fire and keep the fire burning, keep the hope alive. You gotta keep it turning. Come away with me, come, let's go away to be on a new adventure for two. We can fly across the ocean or take a train together. I don't care as long as it's beside you. Take a road trip in a car, we'll get lost and go too far. While on the beaches we will watch the sunrise. And if we've done there's all to do, I'll just sit and stare into your loving face, graced with those beautiful eyes. I have fallen madly in love. You're the only one I think the world of, and I will stay true. 'Cause you got it, you got it, you got my heart. the kind of girl that can wrap me in your world. I'm walking on